Welcome back, you guys. It's DJ Erica, and I just actually dropped the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify for all my people, and it's also on YouTube. Wherever you guys are watching, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Now, on this episode, we're going to talk about a few topics. We're going to discuss Wendy Williams, and we're going to also discuss the violence that's going on in the subways in New York City. Man, it's just been absolutely insane. And it's very graphic. So just a warning and a disclaimer for anybody that's out there with children. I don't think kids should probably be listening to this episode. If you're okay with them listening, that's up to you. That's up to your own discretion. But I'm starting to take on more worldly topics and on this show outside of just celebrity news and gossip. I really want to discuss certain things that's on my mind, and I want to be much more engulfed and get deeper with the audience, with you guys, because at the end of the day, I'm human. I see things, and I just don't feel like in this day and time you can just ignore what's going on in the world. So we're going to just discuss some things, and I want you guys to make sure you stay tuned right now. This is the DJ Jerica podcast where we talk about entertainment news, world news, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in all over the world. Now let's get into it. So Wendy Williams, oh my goodness. Wendy Williams was spotted multiple times, and videos of her has surfaced all over social media and is circulating social media. And the first video that we seen of Wendy Williams, she was actually out, and this is over the past week. She was out with her nephew, and she went to a restaurant, was picking up some food, and fans spotted her, and she had greeted them inside the back of her truck that she was in. Of course, Wendy Williams, she was always being chauffeured around before her diagnosis. And, everyone's like, okay, so if you guys aren't aware, I'm pretty sure everyone in the world should know by now. Wendy Williams has been dealing with some health challenges, reportedly, allegedly, and her family did documentaries documenting and showing the world of Wendy's multiple different health issues and struggles. And it was announced, I would say last year, that she was suffering from early onset dementia. And it was very tragic and sad, and the viewers and fans out there are just so, in distress about the situation, because of course we love Wendy Williams, and if you're in the media realm or you're anybody that's instant entertainment gossip, we know that she is the queen of all media, and we got to see her in the back of the car, but we didn't know exactly. You can see somebody and they could greet you even if they're going through mental challenges or whatever situation, but more news broke and more videos of Wendy Williams surfaced on the web of her at her son's Kevin Jr.'s graduation from college. He was graduating with a law degree. I believe it was being reported. And Wendy Williams was showing emotion. She was standing up. And if you guys don't know the history of Wendy Williams, her health challenges, she had lymphedema, which caused her foot to swell, so it made it so it's hard for her to walk. And she showed it to audiences, just showing during her documentary and things of that nature of how swollen her foot had gotten, while her health continued, her mental health continued to decline before it got worse. She showed us those health challenges that she was going through. So we seen video footage of Wendy Williams with her sister, her father, and her son and her nephew, everybody in her family, including her niece. And the second clip that we seen, of course, was her at the graduation. And that's actually seeing more clips of Wendy Williams at the graduation where she was standing up, clapping for her son. And then we see pictures of her outside of the graduation with, it appears to be a security guard or something like that. And, it was like, okay, well, it's good to see that she's actually getting out. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it was reported last week that by her, what they call it, her handler, I'll call her a handler, that allegedly she was incapacitated. So everyone was like, when you say incapacitated, that means that you don't have the ability to function, to move or operate by yourself. And basically you're bedridden and people are waiting for you to check out of here. So everyone on the web, fans alike, were panicking. But, this was the second time that this report was placed out in the media in regards to Wendy Williams and her health. And Of course, she has someone, and I'm going to call him their handler, a handler, who watches, or guardian. That's the proper term for it. A guardian, who's handling her affairs, since she's supposed to be living with and is in control of her living spaces. And when we seen the Wendy Williams documentary, it appears that she was not living with family. She was placed in some type of living home. She was living by herself in her apartment, but eventually they put her in a transitional home, and her family was having issues connecting with her. So it was just great for us as fans to see her out with her family. We haven't seen her in like over a year. So it was just like, okay, like it's good to see her again. And of course, with us seeing her as fans, we're just hoping that, we don't want to accept the diagnosis. Of course, you guys, like I said before, she was reportedly diagnosed with early onset dementia, and it was reportedly alleged that it was due to alcoholism or something like that. But we've seen her struggles, and it was just so heart wrenching to see that, and just basically watch her have a downfall like that. But the best part is about the situation is that now we're seeing that her family is now stepping in, because on the documentary it seems as if they were on the outs, and the guardian was basically taking over her entire estate, and it seems that she was being forced away from her family. So it's good to see her with their family. We've seen clips as well after they had left the graduation that Wendy Williams went out to eat, and there was an actual report put out by a blogger who reported on the story as well, and they said that they were in company with Wendy Williams. There's more than one person who said they were in the company of Wendy Williams, and we had a clip of Wendy Williams with her nephew giving out gifts for the holiday season, and she offered him a hat, and she had asked him if the hat fit him, and he had dreads on, and he was like, no, that's not going to fit. And then she offered him his t-shirt, and the t-shirt had a logo that said Starbucks on it, and she was like, well, would that fit you? And he said, yeah. So she was showing that she could still communicate and have an actual intellectual conversation in some nature of knowing exactly what's going on around her. And she knows, she was mentioning family members as well during conversation. So it seems as if she has a sense of memory still with her. And we're in a different age. It's 2024. If this was maybe 10 years ago and she got this diagnosis, I'm pretty sure she'd probably be far off progressed. But with modern technology and medication and things of that nature, you can literally hold off a disease for a pretty long time with the proper medication. And I'm hoping that is the case with Wendy Williams. I'm hoping that her family was able to fully intervene and get her on the proper medication for her to live a more fruitful and happy, productive life, versus what the Guardian is claiming to all the social media blogs, that this woman was incapacitated. Now, another clip that had got me as well is we seen Wendy Williams. She went to a restaurant. It was a Jamaican restaurant, the commentator had said, and they said that she wanted Jamaican food. And that is a good thing if she was the one that requested the type of food that she wanted, because it's also showing that she has some type of cognitive ability. She understands what's going on, and she's able to decipher what she likes and what she doesn't like. And also with that means that she's feeding herself. And when you have certain diseases and conditions like Alzheimer's and dementia, you lose your cognitive ability. Certain things you can't eat, you can't swallow, you can't feed yourself. And it appeared in the video clips that Wendy Williams was very much healthy enough to be able to decide, I want Jamaican food, to be able to feed herself, and she was surrounded by family and friends. And no matter what the condition is, when you have a health crisis, and I know from my personal experiences, it makes life better when you have family around that loves you and cares about you and checks on you. And there's times when you have a health condition, sometimes they're just not there. And you have to really try to mentally focus and really be like, okay, they're not here for me, but I have to be here for myself. I have to make sure that things are right for me because I want to be here. And it's a personal experience, and that's just my experience with the health crisis that I've been in and dealt with over the past year. And seeing Wendy Williams or surrounded by her family, knowing people by their name, it appears to be that. And it's nice. It's nice to see. And that doesn't mean that she's not suffering from dementia. But it's a sign of hope that she could live a much longer life than what the life expectancy is for an average person with dementia. So, people are saying, oh, hopefully she could podcast again. We don't know. Anything is possible. If you're a believer, you have faith, you pray to God. Maybe maybe if she's on enough medication, they can revert whatever happened, because it seemed like her downfall happened in like a year, and then they were like, oh, she got dementia. So hopefully they caught it early, and in enough time for her to be able to sober up. And her son actually wrote up on social media that she's sober now as well, confirming that his mother is doing way better than she was before. And he had wrote a comment about everybody else speaking about his mother. He says, while I'm here, quick update on my mom. She's sober and wants to come home. We're fighting to make that happen because isolation is killing her faster than anything else. And that was from her son, Kevin Jr. And he put out that statement. He put out that statement this past week. Well, everybody was just like in awe and happy to see Wendy Williams doing much better health wise. So, I just feel like if she stays on this path, we will have Wendy Williams for the next 5 to 10 years to come, as long as the family is taking care of her and it is not a guardian. Because I just feel like I don't know, it's just something about that guardian that I just don't care for. I mildly report on Wendy Williams, but I just feel like every time the Guardian puts out a statement to the media, it's always something negative about Wendy, and it's always like, oh yeah, she's incapacitated, she can't move. Like I did a report earlier in the year, and they said that about her, and we believed it because we ain't seen her. And then they put out this report, in October? What was that? It was recent. It has to have been in the past 2 months they put out that statement. It was like November, December, somewhere around there, saying that she was incapacitated. Then all of a sudden we start seeing her out and about, And, she was getting assistance with mobilized wheelchair. She was getting a mobilized chair or whatever. But, she was getting around, and also was video footage of her walking as well. And she had identified Biggie Smalls music when she was standing talking to someone as well. It looked like they were in like a room or some type of party or event, and she was interacting and having conversations. So I'm wishing Wendy Williams the best. I'm wishing her nothing but the best in life, and I hope, for anybody with a chronic medical illness, you just got to stay strong. You got to try to connect with family. I know that she's not I guess I would say in the right mind of state to be able to make decisions like that. But it's really about the family staying strong and not letting any guardianship or any type of bank, because, they were saying, like, was it Wells Fargo was holding her money and making it so she wouldn't have access to her funds to pay bills and stuff like that, or allegedly, but the family unit, the Wendy Williams family unit is so strong. And you could tell that her family loves her. And with that gives me hope that she's going to be around for a while. And maybe a miracle will happen. Maybe she might not be able to do an actual show, but maybe she could pick back up the hobby of talking and doing radio, and maybe doing her own little conversations, even if they're for 10 minutes. That will probably help her more or less to even prolong her life as well, because she's actually using her mind, and she's using, her brain and communicating with people. That, keeping that communication skill up is, I think that's, I'm not a doctor, but I think that also makes a person want to stay alive longer. And it makes them, it makes it so they jot their memory, and you start to remember more things outside of, the progression of the disease. So, and yeah. So I want to say, if you guys are still tuned in and you guys are enjoying the show, make sure you guys follow me on the platforms you're listening, whether it's on the streaming platform, audio based, or if it's on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. I want to thank you guys for one big reason. We're almost at 30,000 subscribers. That's right, 30,000 subscribers. We are at 23,140 last time I checked subscribers on YouTube, and I thank you guys more than you ever know. I am so gracious and just so humbled and thankful. And the overall channel has had 7 million views on YouTube alone. And I mean, I could go through my analytics and everything else that I've done on other platforms, but I want to specifically thank my YouTube family for making that happen. And I'm hoping on Facebook we can do the same thing too. I'm going to try to be more consistent with my work. I have a lot of things going on in my life, but I want to rededicate myself back into this media platform, because I know I belong here, right? It's been a while, but I'm back. All right, so make sure you hit the sub button. Now, next subject, man. It's been absolutely bonkers in New York City. Okay. When it comes to, of course, crimes in the subway systems. Now, I will tell you this. I rode the trains in New York. Okay. I got lost on the subway in New York. And before I get into this, because we're going to discuss this horrific situation of a woman being burnt, okay, set on fire by an assailant, okay, and they were saying that this individual was a migrant from Guatemala. I don't know if he was illegal, but I'm going to read all this information for you guys of what I've collected for the news omelet. And, you know, I seen the video footage. It came down my timeline on X, and it was horrific. It was horrific, and I just couldn't watch it anymore. So I'm just, after seeing it, it was so graphic that I couldn't, you know, I took in as much as I could to properly report to you guys what I saw. But the fact that this woman was brutally violated and her life ended because of what this person did. Okay. And the reason why I'm saying and going around it like that, is because for YouTube entertainment purposes, I want to make sure that I'm correct. But I will say this word: she was brutally murdered, and that word will be blanked out on YouTube. But here, when you're on my audio podcast, I'm giving it to you raw and uncensored. She was brutally murdered. She was set on fire by this individual. It was a man from Guatemala. Hispanic guy. He approached this woman while allegedly, the story went as this, according to security cameras. It ain't no allegedly, she's on fire, but we're talking about allegedly he was the person who did it. Okay. They're saying this poor woman got on the F train, the idling F train in New York City, at the Coney Island Stillwell Avenue station in Brooklyn. This occurred around 7:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. This individual, this poor woman, and I am praying for her family. I'm praying for her family. I don't even know. In this day and age where you can't find out about a family member losing their lives or being harmed or having their last breath without you having that actual privacy. The social media tells you usually before the cops even get to you and tell you, or even get to pick up the body, you're finding out online that your loved one then perished. It's just a lot. This young woman reportedly was sleeping on the F train, trying to get some rest, probably trying to get herself home or going to work, one of the two, but she was tired, or she probably got out of work. You know, we can only speculate. Tired, you get out of work, you just want to sit down and rest and go home. And you have to use these public transportation options because you don't have a car or whatever situation is, you don't drive, your car could have been broke down, you have no choice, you have to use the subway. And sometimes the subway is more convenient for the people in New York. And it is because how the structure of New York City is, it's just shit everywhere. And when you're in traffic, everyone's on top of each other. It's pretty dangerous driving. So sometimes you're just like, okay, let me just trust this train is going to take me from point A to point B, less walking. I should be able to sit and chill. But we know in New York City, there's so many people that's homeless. There's so many people that's not in their right mind. There's so many people suffering from mental illness. There's so many people who's been displaced from their homes because of this economy. Everyone has raised the rent and the prices are sky high. People can't even survive, let alone even eat, because of how high the rent is in New York. And I believe New York State has the highest rent rates compared to Los Angeles. Those are the two, right? So yeah, this woman, she's riding on the F train. She dozes off and falls asleep. This individual, who they said is a migrant from Guatemala, approaches her, reportedly threw flammable fluid on her. I'm not sure if it was gas. I'm not sure exactly what type of flammable fluid that it was, allegedly. He went from there to lighting a match or lighting some type of lighter and set her clothes ablaze. Okay? I'm going to read more off of News Omelet. This is where I got my information from, and I seen the video myself. I'm going to give a report on this straight out so you guys can understand, but then I'm going to go into details of what I saw and how disgusted I am with the law enforcement system. I'm also disgusted with our governor, Kathy Hochul. I mean, literally all of the people that Mayor Eric Adams, like somebody, like this is atrocious what happened to this woman. And I don't even see that many people really reporting it. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. And I hope to God they find who did this and they figure out who this young woman was, because the way that she was, it's just unreal to say the things that I saw. The things that I saw. I'm going to read it. It says, in a horrific incident on Sunday morning, a sleeping subway rider was set on fire and burned to death on the idling F train at the Coney Island Stillwell Avenue station in Brooklyn. The incident occurred around 7:30 a.m. and has left the community in shock. Authorities have arrested a migrant from Guatemala who set the victim's clothes on fire with a lighter while she was sleeping at the end of the train. At the end of the train car, the flames quickly engulfed the victim. Patrolling officers noticed smoke coming from the platform and rushed to the scene. Upon entering the train, they found the victim standing, fully engulfed in flames. The fire was extinguished with the help of an MTA worker and a fire extinguisher. But tragically, the victim was pronounced dead at the scene. The identity of the victim has yet been released. Police are continuing their investigation. The suspect remains in custody as authorities work to determine the motive behind the brutal act. And that is the press release on there. Now, the day... Okay, we got to work these days out. Today's the 23rd. Okay. Now, they're saying this happened yesterday at 7:30 in the morning. Okay. Now, let's go on X here and let's see what is written by our governor, Kathy Hochul, at 3:40 p.m. on the 22nd of December. This woman was set ablaze at 7 in the morning. And what do we got? Mid-afternoon, our governor, it says, writes the following post. In March, I took action to make our subway safer for millions of people who take the trains each day. Since deploying the National Guard, New York, to support the NYPD News and MTA safety efforts and adding cameras to all subway cars, crime is going down and ridership is going up. I'm trying to understand how she could put this statement out on hours. Like, how many hours is that? Okay, we got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. That is 9 hours. 9 hours had passed since this woman was set ablaze. 9 hours after it's not alleged, it happened. 9 hours after this woman was set ablaze Videos recorded all over social media. As the governor of New York, and your main goal in life is the subways and prioritizing it, how is it that you're able to put out such a statement? How is it? And that would make me, in my opinion, I don't know the facts. I could say allegedly, that would make me think that you or your team or whoever is running the organization behind the governor didn't inform her. But how could she not be aware of what's going on in her own city that she claims is safe? For her to be able to put out a statement like that with confidence 9 hours after this woman was viciously killed, viciously murdered, set ablaze. We're questioning this. And then, and I'm not going to veer off into the details of this other case, but there was some violent attacks that happened on another subway as well over the weekend. And that was also well documented by the news. And we have our governor coming out saying this. Please help me understand. Where did the lines get mixed up? Where did the lines not cross? What happened for her to put out a statement? Because it makes me feel like she didn't know that this happened to this young woman or whoever it was. I don't know if she was young or elderly, but I'm going to say this young woman. I just need a minute to breathe for a second. Give me a second because I have to collect my thoughts. Just disgusted. And then she came back after and wrote the following post after everybody started to go in the comment section and go off on this lady, which is our governor. She comes out and says, a suspect is now in custody for the horrific incident on the F train. Our brand new security cameras help law enforcement find the suspect and arrest them. Grateful to NYPD News and MTA PD for their aggressive response. And then we have someone where they put up a reader added context. While some subway crimes are decreasing, this will bring 2024 total to 10, tying the 25-year record of 2022. Violent crimes in New York City subways remain subsequently higher than before during the pandemic. She responds to that and she says, make no mistake, any crime is one too many, even with subway crime going down. We are continuing to search personnel and resources to make sure subways are safer. Man, I've seen people fighting and going at it over this other time on that subway. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I watched the video, and I seen there was a police officer. He didn't help that lady. That lady was on fire. She was on fire. She was alive. Her legs was still moving. If you could see... And I asked the kids to leave the room because I'm probably gonna have to edit this part off of YouTube. So if I cut it, just go to my actual show on Spotify and everywhere else because this is graphic and I know YouTube will probably not allow this. So I'm going to still record my video, but it's probably gonna be a chop in between. So if you guys want to hear everything, then you're gonna have to go there. But you're gonna hear my thoughts in regards to this. This woman was on fire. The top of her head all the way down to her feet. You can see her legs. There's fire. She's burning, literally burning into blackness. This guy who set her ablaze, he grabs a coat or something and continues to fan the fire. When you fan the fire, that makes it so the flames increase. So this man is actively murdering her in front of everybody, including a police officer. This police officer, and I have to say allegedly, I don't know who this police officer is. He just seems to appear to walk past and just not do nothing. And I don't know who he is, but his badge shouldn't be taken. He should be fired, and he should be basically reprimanded and prevented from being able to work in any field of law enforcement, because your job is to protect and serve the people. Like, I mean, it's a shame that regular bystanders and citizens watched this and they basically didn't do anything besides pull out their cameras. That lets you know exactly the lack of conscience anyone has anymore. I feel like most of society are like literally sociopathic, narcissistic psychopaths, and they just are so immune to seeing people, and they get some type of kick out of seeing people suffer. But to see an officer, a cop, the person that our governor is giving shout out saying, oh, they did an awesome job figuring out who did it. No, it's not about the cameras. We don't want you helping us after. You're supposed to stop the crimes while they're happening. And if you guys want to take your budget and blow it on whatever, I don't understand why the money that you guys are using can't be invested to make sure, since these people are getting on trains and just doing whatever, there's not at least one security guard on each train to make sure people are safe versus your cameras. Or if you can't be there, there should be extinguishers or some type of safety protocol, first aid kits there to help the citizens if something were to happen that they can prevent. I don't know if, because this woman, when I seen that graphic video, she was very much still alive, and that is a terrible way to go out and die. It's like that. I can. It's just all wrong, and I can't believe I'm having a conversation about this. I can't believe I'm having a conversation about this. I think society has lost their minds, and I feel like as a New Yorker, I'm disgusted with our government. I'm disgusted with the leadership here, and I hope that this leads to some type of protest where someone, try to, I don't know, I wouldn't say it, because protests don't really work. I think it's time for there to be some type of meeting with the citizens and the leaders, and where they try to get some laws passed, and they request that the governor gets a budget and use it for good, instead of it just being a giveaway to people. Use it to make sure that the citizens are protected here, because this was very preventable to me. And I think that this woman, although this guy viciously attacked her, I feel like she could have survived if it was people with actual conscience there, with some type of fire extinguisher, or the police officers did their job. You can't sit here, Miss Governor, and write a statement like that about the NYPD and all this other people. And I don't know if this person was part of the NYPD, but he was definitely in uniform. And it appears that he was a police officer in uniform, and he walked past the incident like he didn't see this woman on fire. And even the person that recorded the video, the fact that we were able to see it versus us just hearing the rumor because so many people jumped to her aid and tried to help. This man didn't try to, this cop didn't do nothing. He didn't apprehend this man. He watched this man that lit this woman on fire, just waving a flame, just waving at the flame, fanning the flame. And he did nothing. And I have to say, allegedly, it appears that he did nothing. And I feel like whoever the family is, first of all, I'm praying for them. But I feel like when they do discover who it was that was killed, I think they should file a lawsuit. I do. I think they should file the highest, the highest paying lawsuit ever in the world. Because even if they did make that money back, still won't bring the family back. Still won't bring their mother, their sister, their friend back. But we as a society, we have to do better. And that just stifled me and it just threw me off for the day. Uh, so as the story develops, I will attempt to do an update on it. But I more so want to send out my condolences to her family. And I hope that this individual doesn't see the light of day. When people do stuff like that, and it's like in New York State, they don't have a death penalty. But when people do things like that, that's terrorism. And I think that he should be considered for that. He shouldn't be able to be getting away with that. He shouldn't be allowed to. He shouldn't be able to just live his life after he savagely did that to that woman, an innocent woman that was just sleeping. That was sleeping, minding her business. She didn't even know. But this is the world that we're living in. This is the world that we're living in. A world of crazy people with no conscience, sociopathic psychopaths. You know? And I hate to be dark like that on the show. But this is the harsh reality of the world. I'm grown, man. You know, and you know, just to jump into it, I know you guys are like, man, I'm so used to her just talking about gossip and tea. But I'm a grown woman, man. I'm 33. Oh, did I just throw my age out there? Because I'm blessed to see it. Been through a lot. Fought to get here. And we got to start talking about some more advanced stuff because I know my audience is grown too. We all grown. And I've been on this platform for a while now, and I'm pretty sure everybody else following me 10 years ago, we 10 years older now. And we gotta address some things versus just talking about celebrities and who did, you know, is this person is conspiracies and stuff like that. We can't see with our own eyes. We need to talk about the stuff that we do see out front, the nastiness, the vulgarness, the inhumane activities, the things that people get away with doing on a daily basis. We got to talk about that stuff. That's the stuff that we need to discuss in society. And I'm not saying that we can't concentrate. And that's why I said this is a platform where we talk about entertainment news and world news because we can talk about multiple subjects here. We're all intellectual individuals, adults, human beings. And I needed to talk about that. Now, if you guys like my show, do me a favor, hit the sub button. Hit the like button. Share this pod if you're feeling what I'm saying. And I just hate the fact that YouTube, I'm probably not even going to be, and I don't want to lose my monetization. So I might split up Wendy Williams segment, and then I'm probably going to put the whole show with this whole thing. And then if they decide they won't like review my page and say, oh yeah, she's just talking ratchet all the time, we can't sponsor this. But I just find that so crazy. Like, you know, I hate that with platforms, you know, when you're on certain platforms, they're like trying to censor you. And if you discuss things that's really serious and detrimental to the world, they don't want to share the story through the algorithm. And that's why I try to tell you guys, yo, follow me independently. I'm trying to build, you know? And with that, let me plug real quick. And we're going to veer off to some other conversations. But I want to hear your thoughts about that, if you guys seen that. And I want to hear your conversation for all my pod listeners and stuff like that. I have like a setting where you guys can text and share your thoughts about my episode so you guys can interact. So send your thoughts. Just read into the description of the self-distributed audio pod, and you guys can do that because I want to hear your thoughts. And also I want to give a shout out to my international audience that's out there. I'm about to go on here and we're going to see how many people, because I have a pretty wide audience. And sometimes I check my statistics. I like to check and see who's listening, where you guys are listening from, who tuned in. And I know I was on multiple countries that listened to my last show, and I am thankful for it. So let me just see okay. So I want to do this shout out to everybody that listened so we can start building more of a relationship versus me just giving you the news and it's just like dead air. So shout out to the listeners in Yuba City, California. Shout out to my listener in Denver, Colorado. Shout out to my listener in Buffalo, New York, my hometown. Shout out to my listener in Woodbridge, Virginia. Shout out to my listeners in Bemidji, Minnesota. Shout out to my listeners in Roy, Utah, Dublin, Leinster, Frankfurt, Hissy, Stockholm County, and shout out to everybody. And these are the cities, but the countries, I want to give a shout out to the people listening to these various countries, which is France, the United States, Ireland, Germany, Sweden, and Russia. Federation. Know that I'm paying attention to you. Know that I know that you're tuning in, and I appreciate you. And I hope that you continue to share this podcast, because we're going to get better and better. And listen, I'm on a vacation. I got a break in between from all of this stuff that's going on in my life. So I'm going to be getting a few episodes out. And please forgive me. Sometimes I get off the grid for a little bit. And it's not because I don't want to be here. It's just literally I had to make sure I put my health first. So that's maybe the reason why I'm not just posting constantly. But I'm trying to give you guys the real meat and potatoes and stuff that's going on around us, and really have a deep discussion about the things that I see in the world. Because honestly, I just feel like the world has gone mad. I feel like the standards are just in hell at this point when it comes to people and their behaviors. It's just diabolical. Excuse me. Diabolical. Don't come here. Diabolical. Disgusting. The stuff that I see out in these streets. And it just made me just sit and think about it. And then and there was another thing I had seen, right? And it was the craziest stuff I ever and it's not the craziest stuff, but it's just like, come on, Hollywood. Now we know Hollywood is crumbling. I feel like in 2024 alone, and I'm talking about Black Hollywood specifically. In 2024 alone, we've had, how many people have gone to jail? We had Diddy get arrested, right? And he's facing a federal case, a RICO charge case, and all this other stuff for trafficking and all types of stuff. And he tried to get bail like 3 times, and they denied him all 3 times. His allegations swinging all over the place. They're saying that his trial isn't going to happen until 2025 in May. But he decided to decline his appeal request last week. And, we got Little Dirk. He has a case for M-word for hire, if you guys follow my drift. And this part of the show, I'm going to be as edited as possible because I really want to be able to put out this long form video. But, and then they found out that he not only had one allegedly, it's all alleged. He had 2 cases on him, and the feds are like holding him after they caught him out in Florida. They were making allegations that he was trying to skip town or go to another country or something like that. And that is just like, whoa. And I just, and who else done gone to jail? Peter Thomas from the Real Housewives of Atlanta? Allegedly, well, it actually did happen. He confessed to it, but yeah, he owed like $2 million in taxes, and now he's going to jail because allegedly, I'm gonna keep saying allegedly, even though Peter Thomas is on here admitting that he had some wrong going on. I don't want nobody suing me. I am poor. You understand? POOR. I ain't got, the pennies to pay you, baby. Yeah, they're saying that he's supposed to be turning himself into the police because he caught a charge for it seems to be tax evasion or something like that, and he owes a lot of money, so he's going to jail. Then I think it was somebody from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't watch the Real Housewives, but it was a lady from Real Housewives. I don't know her name. I'm not gonna go that deep because really I don't really care. But they were saying that she has to go to jail for like a year or so because she was drinking and driving allegedly. And of course the video cam footage, it just appeared that she was indeed drunk and stuff. And I'm just like, who's next, man? Who's next? Like, people are just going down, and we're in a different era that we were before. We used to be in an era where people idolize celebrities. People love the hell out of celebrities. You can hear a person and be like, I'm a this and a that. People, you got the Beehive. You got all these people that just ride and die and, read Navy, and everybody would name their fans and Team Breezy for Chris Brown and all this other stuff. But now it's like People don't care about the celebrities, man. They do not care about that. And the government don't care about the celebrity no more. They don't care about nothing. Because back in the day, celebrities used to get in trouble. They would get off scot-free. Not in this day and age. We're a different group in a different generation. And folks are singing like canaries. And folks are getting locked up for the things they've done in the past. People are being held accountable, babes. And I'm just like, whew, I can only imagine what next year is going to be with 2025 because we're on the tail end of 2024 and so much stuff is unfolding. And, I just be sitting back trying to see. Now, let's talk about Diddy and Jay-Z. So it's been crazy for Jay-Z, man. This guy, Tony Busby, filed a lawsuit on behalf of his client. And this woman had made a claim back in 2000. She was violated by Jay-Z and Diddy after the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000. She went as far as to filing a suit on Diddy, but like a month later, she decided to add Jay-Z's name to the thing. Jay-Z vehemently denied it. He put out a statement. He, called out Tony Busby. He said, he was like a ambulance chaser in a cheap suit and that he was going to fight. And he went to the Lion King premiere to Mufasa to support his daughter and his wife, Beyonce, Blue Ivy, and he was showing his face. And since then, they've been going back and forth suing each other. And I'm not about to go really into I'm going to save the details on that stuff more so for another podcast, if I even feel like it, because, baby, I really don't care. But, yeah, so NBC, did an interview with the girl, and a lot of the stuff that she was mentioning didn't seem to check out. It seemed, it appeared that she was lying, and there were certain things in her story that didn't add up. Like she was discussing in a lawsuit saying that it was jumbotrons being used, and reportedly, allegedly, was it his lawyer? A lawyer was like, no, that's not the case. I think it was the Breakfast Club. Was it Lauren LaRosa? I think that's her name. She was saying that there was no jumbotron at the MTV Awards, so that wasn't possible. Then another report from NBC News said that this woman had an encounter with these guys who are a brother band, who said that they were hanging out at the award show, and they were like, no, we weren't. We were on tour, and we were at this location. So it was just a lot of empty holes. And also, she was talking about there was a White House somewhere in New York, and it was like, there's no big mansions in New York. So it was just coming out that this was just a false allegation. We don't know who the person is, but it was pretty clear that Jay-Z was innocent. And I'm gonna say that because, of course, if he was like he said, he should be charged and held to the highest extent of the law outside of a lawsuit. But yeah, there was no actual tangible proof to place Jay-Z at that location at that time, and the story pretty much was debunked and outruled. So with that, people have decided to move on. Jay-Z is still working with the Super Bowl halftime show for the NFL. He hasn't skipped a beat. He's still doing his work, But things got interesting because his attorney came out and made a statement saying that him and Diddy was not friends. And he made it clear. He's like, hey, they had a working relationship. Just like any other coworker, they would support each other. They would see each other at the NBA games and support each other. They would support each other at different events and stuff like that and big each other up. But they weren't friends. But it's just, I guess you can do that. I don't work in that world of entertainment, right? I'm not a rapper. I do radio work. I podcast. I do media work. But personally, based off of the collage of photos that we had with Diddy, based off of Diddy literally going on and I think was it James Harden? I want to say his name is. He was on that carpool show, and he was basically telling this man that the only person who's allowed to call him by his government name was Jay-Z, and he said not even your family. He said only my mother calls me that. Or Sean Carter, they're best friends or something. So that could make you think okay, what? Why is Diddy saying that Sean Carter can call him that? And it's just, baby, if I knew, I would tell you. Okay. All we know is Jay-Z said that they're not friends, but there's a ton of photos of them. Then there was a video circulating of Diddy on the stage, basically calling him his brother, saying that he's been here for hard times and needs, saying that allegedly he skipped a recital for his daughter just so he could be at Diddy's concert. And that's like, I don't know if he did it for the bag. I'm pretty sure Jay-Z didn't need money that night. So it was like you've been supporting them. Then we got to go through the Rock Nation, the infamous Rock Nation brunches every year where they were there hanging out, kicking it at every party together. I mean, I don't know what anyone's definition of a friend is. Like, I mean, maybe Diddy was his party friend or party acquaintance or colleague. Maybe he didn't sit at home with him and have dinner with him. Maybe that is the case, but it just appears and it just comes off strange. And social media was going into shambles, especially on X, because they were dropping collage and photos and videos of them over the decades together. And it's like, all right now. I just want to know how Diddy is feeling. They said Diddy just had a hearing and he came out and he looked real like his actual age. You know how the celebrities, they like to put like Beijing and stuff on to make themselves look much younger, and they're eating a particular diet, they're keeping their weight on, they have to work out, they have trainers and stuff like that. But they're saying that Diddy has gone, he's lost weight while he's been in Metropolitan Brooklyn Detention Center. That's where they're holding him. They're saying that he's lost like a lot of weight, much thinner. He has a beard that's gray now, and he's almost like 60. So, I mean, this is typical. And how would you look? He's been locked away since September, and allegedly, TMZ and all these other networks have been reporting, news outlets have been reporting that he has not been really eating much. So, because people are saying allegedly he was afraid someone's going to poison him. I don't know what the situation is. But we're just going to sit back and see exactly how things shows out and for Sean Combs. And believe me, you guys want to stay locked here. If you guys haven't, check out my episode about Diddy, because I did like an expose that had came out about him. Rolling Stone expose, and I did part 1. I never ended up getting to part 2, and I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry for not getting part 2, but that was like the majority just of it. Like, life had happened, and I just couldn't get back to it. I'm trying to be better and more consistent, but check out that part 1, baby, because I gave y'all like top fledged narration. That's it, and I'm almost at 52 minutes. I hope that this actually. I'm recording with my iPhone, so I'm just like, ooh, I'm scared. Like, I'm scared that I'll be even to edit and transfer this shit. I think it's way too long. But if I can't, I'm going to find a way. If there's WeTransfer, I'm going to find a way. I'm going to edit this. I'm going to get it out, and it's going to be quality. Believe that. I'm determined. What else is going on? Okay. It was something else that happened where I seen this producer. And we got to talk about Hollywood, because we're talking about Hollywood people. This young producer came out and made a statement. I think that she's young. I don't know, but I just would say that she's young because, the way that these workers in Hollywood be getting financially swindled, I just be hoping that it's because they're young and they just don't know better, and they have goals in mind, so they're doing freelance work to get ahead. But there was a post that came up from a person, and I'm going to protect their identity because I don't know if they put it on Twitter, but it was a producer that allegedly worked for, no, not producer. She wasn't a producer. She was a principal photography worker and reshoots. So she did principal photography and the reshoots for Bad Boys 4. And if you guys haven't seen it, earlier this year, Bad Boys 4 came out with Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, and it, the franchise itself ranked in over $1 billion, and they had one of the biggest box office for this year alone. So this person put up a statement and said, I worked for Bad Boys 4, principal photography and reshoots. I faced eviction 3 times and am currently living on food stamps. The movie made $1.2 billion. Okay? So this person is saying that this franchise has brought in $1.2 billion. But they said that Bad Boys 4 made $400 million. But it seems to be negating that because she's allegedly worked on the set, and she's saying that it really ranked at 1.2 billion. And she didn't get basically a lick of that. I don't know, how is that even legal? Where is the labor laws? And I could have swore Hollywood was just protesting. They were just on strike, baby. The writers was like, no, you're not paying me. You're paying me peanuts. And yet they're still pimping and robbing people. That's what it appears to be. Because, like, for you to be working on a franchise film, I don't care if you're the damn janitor. For a franchise to be bringing in $1.7 billion or $500 million in one sweep, and you're telling me that the people that's working around the stars in the movie have to get food stamps? Somebody, where's the freaking union or something? Like a board of directors? Like, this is illegal. Where somebody take them to court? I mean, sue for lost wages. Like, I don't know. That would make me hostile to get paid like that. Could that be a hostile work environment? Nah. Underpayment. I wonder, and if I was her, I would just look into my options, baby. But that was her decision, though. Because I don't know, she, allegedly, right? I don't know if she signed any contracts, or he or she, whoever this individual is, they signed contracts or not. But I would think that they did, right? Because they're working on a film that's worth $1.2 billion. But, if this isn't a message, if this person also got annoyed because people was talking about, oh, well, you signed a contract, blah, blah, blah. And they said, muting this because it's overwhelming my app. Thanks for all the comrades in the worlds of encouragement and solidarity. And thanks to all the haters for clout. So this person eventually tried to mute the conversation. But this is a big conversation to me because this is criminal. Hollywood has been robbing people for far too long. Far too long, in my opinion. And I just think it's insane for people be talking about the music industry. Folks be getting robbed. Everyone's on Spotify back for making their company worth $6 billion and never allegedly paying the artists what they're worth. Their distribution and checks and stuff are terrible. But the thing is that although Spotify is paying these people pennies on a dollar, you got ASCAP checks. This is a whole situation that needs to be basically taken to the Supreme Court if you guys are really trying to get something done. Because I just feel like it's crazy for anybody to be able to be worth $1 billion and pay people like this. It's kind of like I seen these Amazon workers that was going on strike. And I had a conversation about that, so y'all could go and check out my last episode. I discussed that, so I'm not going to repeat myself on this podcast. But yeah, we got to stop this monopoly capitalist BS that's going on, because it's literally in every branch of work, whether it's entertainment, whether it's basic blue collar work, whether it's corporate. It's just it's disgusting, man. We got to do better. Okay, so I'm hitting my 1 hour mark. I'm not going to take this way too long. This is way longer than what I expected, man. But this is my comeback pod, right? And I got so much other things that happened in the news that I wanted to discuss, but I'm not going to talk about it today. I'm going to talk about it on the next episode. So if you guys enjoyed this, subscribe, share. I'm trying to hit a goal here. I've been podcasting for a while. I was gone for a minute. And where's Lil Kim? I'm back with that jump off. So I'm out here in the streets grinding, trying to grow. We're going to talk about more content. We're going to talk about hip-hop news. We're going to talk about all that other stuff on the next episode. There's so much more stuff that has happened. But those are my top topics that I'll discuss. And remember, as I wrap this up, everything that I discussed in this past hour was alleged. I have no weight in the fights and the stuff that's going on with these people out in these streets, y'all. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in to the DJ Jericho podcast. And if you have your opinions on the things that I discussed, please leave a comment in the comment section. Please stop being shy. Talk to me. I'm human. I'm alive. I'm here. Catch you guys later. Much love. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.